Blake, pick a man, bring your kit.
1917 is set in 1917, at the height of World War I.
Hope is a dangerous thing.
2 British soldiers are given an impossible mission, crossing enemy lines to warn others about an ambush.
They're walking into a trap. Your orders are to deliver a message, calling off tomorrow morning's attack.
Director Sam Mendes also wanted an impossible mission, a one-shot movie that puts viewers in the action.
Let's talk about this for a minute.
Why?
What I wanted an audience to do was, through the micro of these 2 men's journeys in real time, just 2 hours of real time, observe to some degree the macro, which is the immensity of the destruction.
We've got orders to cross here. That is the German front line.
Hold back! If we're not clever about this, no one will get to your brother.
I will.
The vastness of the land, the thousands and thousands, millions of men, the appalling conditions, the staggering amount of waste and destruction, lives lost, and yet always to stick within the footprint of this 2 hours of real time. And I felt like if you were to look, it's like looking through a tiny, tiny keyhole into an enormous panorama of horror.
There is only one way this ends. Last man standing.
I don't want people thinking about the camera particularly. I want people only thinking about the emotional journey these men are taking. But it does have a compound effect, a gradual growing menace. Something is coming, something unstoppable. And combine the technique of the filmmaking with the fact that we're moving always forward.
Action!
Not always walking, sometimes running, sometimes in trucks, sometimes in the river, sometimes carried by forces greater than themselves. But it never goes back.
Did you hear that story about Wilco? How he lost his ear?
I'm not in the mood. Keep your eyes on the trees, top of the ridge.
All the decisions came from the relationship between the camera and the actor. And that began with me and Roger sitting in a room going, how are we going to shoot this scene? Where is he going to be standing? Do you not want to have that line on camera? Because if you have a dialogue scene, to state the obvious, what I didn't want, and neither did Roger, and we don't do at any point in the movie, is hinge the camera back and forth between 2 people speaking dialogue. To me, that you might as well cut. That's not what I wanted. What I wanted was one ribbon, like a snake, moving forward, in which the information that you needed happened to fall in front of where the camera was pointing.
She sends him over this hair oil. Smells sweet, like golden syrup.
My grandfather told me a story about carrying a message on the Western Front in 1917. He was a small man and he was very fast, and his job was often to carry messages from post to post. But that kernel of an idea sat with me, and I was always fascinated by the war, perhaps because my grandfather told me about it when I was very young, 9, 10, 11. Perhaps because at that stage in my life, I'm not sure I'd ever even heard of a war.
I'm going back to see my father.
We need to keep moving! Come on!
Going
You can't possibly make it that way, man! You bloody insane!
If you don't get there in time, we will lose 1,600 men. Your brother among them. Good luck.
You know, one of the things we take for granted is we in the West, at least in England, are born in peacetime. Unless you're now in your mid-60s, 70s, you were not born during a war, and you have not known a war on this scale. So for me, it was an eye-opening. I couldn't believe that the man that I knew, this very loquacious, charming, theatrical, funny, chatty storyteller of a man, had this horrific experience as a young man.